So this week, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away. She was battling cancer, had a lot of other severe medical issues, and unfortunately, 2 days ago she passed away. Due to the nature of the way the Supreme Court system is run, there's a limited amount of Supreme Court justices and their lifetime appointees. So this means after Justice Ginsburg's death, there needs to be a replacement Supreme Court justice. Constitutionally, this is a normal procedure that's supposed to happen after a Supreme Court justice's death. Which means it would be fine for Donald Trump to replace her now, right? Well, the far left thinks otherwise. They're saying it would be wrong for Donald Trump to replace Judge Ginsburg right now because of the upcoming election. And because it's so close to Election Day, it will greatly affect the results of the election. They're also saying that it was a part of Ginsburg's dying wish to not be replaced until after the election. So the left have a couple reasons for Donald Trump not to replace Judge Ginsburg yet. But all these reasons are based on what the left think is quote-unquote fair, and not what is constitutional. In the Constitution, is there a rule that says before the election, the president isn't allowed to replace a justice? No. Does the dying wish of a judge change the Constitution and the procedures that happen afterwards? No. Is it in Donald Trump's right as a president to replace a judge after a death? Of course. And if the roles were reversed and you had a Democratic president in the exact same set of circumstances, don't you think they would try the exact same thing to replace a judge right before an election? Of course they would. They only have a problem with it because it benefits the right. If the roles were reversed, they wouldn't have a problem with replacing a judge in these same set of circumstances. So the Republicans have every right to replace the judge. It's not illegal, and it is founded in the Constitution that this is the normal procedure. What they're doing is they're adhering and they're entertaining the fake rules that the left are making up. The left will do all these underhanded, dirty, cheating tactics, but when the right does something that seems unfair, the left will call them out on it and call foul. And what's worse is that actually works. But isn't it mean to deny the dying wish of Judge Ginsburg? Shouldn't you at least adhere to that? That's besides the point. It's not in the Constitution that says that we aren't allowed to change a Supreme Court justice based on the wishes of the previous judge. Tucker Carlson of Fox News said it pretty well.
As a nation, we should heed her final call to us, not as a personal service to her, but as a service to the country, our country, at a crossroads.
Honor her last words that she not be replaced until a new president is installed.
She said, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed." We believe that.
Her fervent wish is that the next president picked. That was the last thing she said to the public.
We know who this man is. We know who this man is. This is a man who does not care about a dying woman's final wish. Clearly.
So turn down the volume and consider for a moment the reasoning here, the argument that they're making. Nothing is more important than our Constitution. That Constitution is in grave jeopardy. That's why we must substitute an 87-year-old woman's final wish for the constitutionally prescribed process for filling a Supreme Court seat. That's what they're arguing. Got that? Pretty amusing. Keep in mind, we don't really know actually what Ruth Bader Ginsburg's final words were. Did she really leave this world fretting about a presidential election? We don't believe that for a second. If it were true, it would be pathetic, because life is bigger than politics, even this year. We wouldn't wish final words that small on anyone. So we're going to, again, choose to believe that Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't really say that in real life, she was thinking at the end about her family and where she might be going next. Human concerns, not partisan ones. But in practical terms, it's irrelevant what she said. Ruth Bader Ginsburg doesn't get to pick her replacement from her deathbed. That's not how it works. We have a Constitution we're supposed to be defending, remember? And that's the whole point of the Constitution. If Justice Scalia had said something like that, nobody would have cared. We would have been embarrassed for him. Thankfully, he didn't say that. On some level, Democrats know all this. All this talk about Ginsburg's dying wish is ridiculous and insulting to all of us and our country. And they'll stop soon. Democrats have an alternative argument at the ready, and that's one they've been honing all year. It goes like this: do what we want or we will hurt you. That's the real argument they're making.
The problem here is that the conservatives, even though it's in their full right to do so, won't act upon something that is constitutional and something that they should do, because the left will say they're being unfair or they're being mean, and if you do this, we'll riot. But all that doesn't matter. This whole message is reoccurring throughout the entire year. We even covered this last week about the same spiritual topic. We can't give in to Satan's accusations because Satan's out to get us. He's out looking for our demise. You can't entertain Satan's accusations. Republicans and conservatives need to act on what is right and what is constitutional, regardless of what anyone else says. Because the left will guilt trip them to the ground. If the left are willing to attack us, and they're willing to be absolutely ruthless, then we don't need to show them some sort of pity or mercy when it comes to doing what's right. Why would you entertain the left's cries about what is wrong or what's unfair when they are doing far worse, far more unconstitutional acts? Why would you entertain the cries of a cheater who calls out other players for being unfair? One, unfair doesn't matter as long as it's within the rules. And two, you're really going to entertain that call on someone who's constantly breaking those said rules? What the right needs to do is ignore the cries from the left. Ignore Satan's accusations and move on to what is right. Move forward to what is constitutional. We are living in a new era where we don't need to adhere to the rules of the old era. We don't need to be nice when Providence doesn't require us to be nice. In the times of the Old Testament during Restoration era, there is a principle where you should give all things to Cain and give all your belongings to Esau. This was during a time when Satan held eldersonship, where Jacob would need to soften the heart of Esau by giving his things to him for the sake of providence. Even the crucifixion of Jesus was to soften the hearts of everyone in the world. But during this era, where God has eldersonship, we don't need to abide by those old principles. In this era, the second coming Messiah doesn't come to get crucified. In this era, when you give all things to Esau, when you try to soften his heart will stay hardened and he will take advantage of the things that you gave him and then kill you. We talked about this earlier in previous videos. We have the sovereignty to choose when to give and when not to give. Just because someone will accuse us of not being loving if we don't give doesn't mean we have to listen to that person. We have ownership over our belongings. We earned our belongings. They are not entitled to our niceness. The same way the Republicans voted for president and Senate. We earn the right to elect a new Supreme Court justice, so we shouldn't feel bad or be guilt-tripped into not using what we're sovereign over. We don't need to soften the hearts of the leftists and be nice to them by forfeiting our right to elect a new justice. What will that accomplish? There's no reason for us not to elect a new justice. We earn the right to elect a new justice, and at the end of election, there's a chance that our right to do so, the right that we earned by voting, could get taken away from us. It's not going to soften their hearts like it would in the old days. They're just going to take that and elect their own justice. What if Donald Trump isn't elected? Or what if, due to all the mail-in ballots that need to be recounted, what if it takes so long that Nancy Pelosi gets elected president and she elects a new justice? If we're nice to them, it's not going to accomplish anything. They're just going to take it and run. Not even a thank you. They won't give anything back. We are fully sovereign over our right, and the President Donald Trump's right to vote in a new judge. If the right can't learn to push forward and do things that seem unfair, which keep in mind, it isn't, then we'll just keep falling for whatever the left throws at us, and we'll never be able to move forward. This is a reoccurring lesson that's been going on all year. We need to learn that being quote-unquote mean shouldn't stop us from doing what's right.